In today's episode of Spooky Villages, we're going to take a trip to a spooky castle. Guys, what's up? It is Doug at Spooky Villages here. I have a very special episode of Spooky Villages. Today I am talking about Dr. Dreadmoor's castle. This is going to be fun to talk about. I'm a mad scientist nut and I'm also a castle nut, and this melds them together, so I am very excited to talk about this piece here. This piece actually I got from Lemax. Lemax sent this as a media review kit, and I also placed an order with my friend Ryan, Haunter's Nation. There's two accessories that they go with this, basically. They don't come with it, but they very much, they correspond with it. And you are talking about Dr. Dreadmoor's Creepy Creatures and Creepy Delivery. I think it's important to show those because I'm guessing a lot of folks, if you ordered this piece, there's a good chance you might have ordered those pieces too because they go with it so well. So let's do a once around here of the gigantic box. And you can see here that this piece, it doesn't have any exclusive packaging because it's not an exclusive. This is not a dealer exclusive piece, so it can be had at any Lemax Spooky Town dealer. And let's show you here really quick. It's got the standard, the standard inside of the box of the molding that Lemax is doing. And there is a power supply. See if you can see that here. There is a power supply that is included in this one. It's not at the top though. It's I don't think you're going to be able to see it. It's on the side here of one of it, but it does have a power supply. So, all right, it's going to be fun to talk about this piece here. So, as an added wrinkle for this review, my friend Landon, he actually found the concept art for this piece, and there's something that they changed that from the concept to production that's going to be very interesting to talk about. So, all right, let's get into the box. All right, guys, here is Dr. Dreadmoor's castle out of the box. This is a big boy, and before we get talking about everything here, there's two really important things I wanted to talk about. The first is when you power this on, or power it off, I should say, make sure you do not hook it up to, you don't want it hooked up to a power strip and turn it off that way. You absolutely want to plug it in and turn it off here at the switch. This piece has a cycle down. You will see when you turn it off here. And actually, I will do this later in the video when I show the lights and sound. I will actually turn it off at the end and I will show you what it looks like as it cycles down. So if you don't do that, you could damage the piece severely or the motor's animation. You don't want to do that. So the other thing is the price on this one. It's around, depending on retailer and everything, you're probably looking for an actual street price on this of around $180 to $200, depending. That's if you're not playing, the full Michael's retail price. And this piece here, that's probably what you're going to get it around. So it is an expensive piece. This is one of the most expensive pieces that Lemax has of the year. So let's talk about this, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show you what it looks like lit up here pretty quick here because there is so much fun stuff going on here. So look at the castle. Wonderful facade back here. I really like this. It's a lot of fun. I like when we have an elevated building like this, when it's not just kind of up in the air with like a general a platform or a back that doesn't really like necessarily vibe with the building. This here, I love how you have the facade here, the rocks in the back there, the mountainous part of it. This would be a lot of fun. And well, actually, this is what I'm going to do eventually with this piece. I'm actually going to put this on carved like a mountain top hill because this castle here, I mean, it's a lot of fun. Again, who doesn't love a castle in the mountains, right? So let's talk about the animation and kind of the general story of the piece, what's going on here, because it's pretty neat actually. And so what happens here? We have 4 points of animation. You have right here where it looks like we have a scientist who is he is teleporting, and actually I love this little bit here. We have a little bit of storytelling right here. This is actually this blackboard here, or chalkboard, and you can see what he's talking about here, and he is teleporting himself. So over here you'll see in the animation he teleports, and when he teleports though, one side is monstrous and the other side is not. And I guess there really is a 5th point of animation. It's not animated though. This is a cool trick here. You have the eyes, which are, they're in here. And I'll show you a clip what it looks like here. No matter where you're at, the eyes have the effect that they are following you. And I love that. Very creepy. It's great. Up here at the top, we have this. I mean, this is a big point here. The whole top opens up here. And we have basically it looks like a mummified corpse or a wrapped corpse that comes out here. All the while, there's all kinds of great lighting going on here. You know, that's simulating all like the electrodes and stuff going off. This is a mad scientist haven. And then one of the other pieces here, and this one is the one I'm going to talk about in just a moment here. We actually have out here the doors, a pumpkin monster. He comes out. And this is what's going to be fun because this actually wasn't what was initially designed, at least in the concept art of what came out of here. And that kind of messes with the theming here. And we'll talk about it in just a minute here, though. I did want to mention this, too. I like this little side detail over here. We have, looks like a chemical vat. And it has, you know, it's got a hole in it here, and it's leaking this neon green over here. I really like that little detail. Really quick, though, the fit and finish. One more around here. This one has a great paint job on it. This one here does. And I can't forget also on the front here, I like the little, we have an internal scene here, you know, like a library. I love that. Construction on this one, it's not super heavy, but not super light either. There's a couple of buildings like that. It feels like Lemax kind of has a good sweet spot this year, with some of the buildings are quite heavy, like the Misty Grave Mausoleum. That is a big boy, super heavy. Some of them are lighter, but I think this is a nice mid-range here. Feels nice and chonky, or you know, beefy, but it's not super heavy. I think they did a good job with this. I also like, we have some of the other details here, like up in the tower, the monsters and things here. So, all right. So let's show you what it looks like lit up, and we'll talk more about it. So quick note here, guys. So one of the LEDs actually appears to be out. That is in one of the teleporters, actually, on the monster side of it. This is actually going to be a good opportunity. I'm going to do a repair video here and just show you how to replace an LED on this in the future here. It's a bummer that it's out, but I don't have time to exchange it, nor do I have time to repair it right now. So just FYI, at some point here, I'm going to do a video on how to do an LED replacement here. So with the lights on, guys, the piece just totally comes alive. Fantastic lighting. I absolutely love that. It looks beautiful. You know, I'm a huge fan of what this thing looks like lit up. They did such a nice job with, you know, to really make it look like this is a mad scientist place. And I love castles, and I love, you know, I love the mad scientist theme. So those things melded. This piece is like, I mean, it's kind of made for me, really. So my friend Landon, Halloween Villages, you've seen him on the live shows, the Village Idiot shows. He actually found the concept art for this a while back, and boy, does it do a lot to change the flavor here. So those tentacles, that's the big thing here, is the tentacles that are coming out where the pumpkin ghoul is. And the pumpkin ghoul is fine. You know, I like a pumpkin ghoul. There's a lot of, you know, mutations and different experiments going on here. So it makes sense well enough. But those tentacles really give this piece like an eldritch horror, you know, tentacle monster, mind flayer type vibe, and that is something I absolutely love. And to me, that ups the creep factor here. This isn't that scary of a piece because, you know, it's very kind of cartoonish. There are some macabre things here going on, you know, if you know, like some body horror stuff. I mean, there's body horror stuff going on here, but I think that the tentacles actually do up the scare factor a little, because then those eyes that are coming out there, to me, that looks like that's the tentacle monster. And there are a couple ways you could look at it. It doesn't have to be like an eldritch type horror necessarily. That could just be a monster that, you know, was made by way of some experiment. And so its eyes are up there and the tentacles are spilling out below. So either way you want to flavor it, whether you want to stick with just the mad scientist stuff or you want that Lovecraftian horror type vibe, those tentacles, those would have been awesome to see on this piece. So in talking about that pumpkin ghoul, you know, that's out front there, I haven't even mentioned that this piece is clearly, you know, takes some inspiration from The Fly, because you have the scientist who is, you know, he's basically, he's teleported and now he's got bug features, or he's very buggy. And that's very, you know, takes some nods from The Fly. Again, some body horror there. That's a big thing with this piece, is the body horror. So speaking of pumpkin ghouls, that reminds me of the pumpkins here. There are pumpkins up front. I do like that. Again, these are Halloween pieces, and this piece could have, you know, you could have gotten away with probably not having pumpkins on it, just because it's a spooky castle in the woods. So I don't know that it necessarily needs it, but I still like it because these are Halloween pieces, right? And I like when they, you know, you have your pumpkin here, or your skeleton, your black cat, or something like that. I like when they tie in the traditional Halloween stuff on these pieces. Something that's awesome with the eyes is that the light flickers. So when the piece is lit up in the dark, it looks like the eyes are blinking. It's a really cool effect. So the soundtrack on this building, it's another big win for Lemax Spooky Town this year. This one has a great soundtrack. It's good ambiance for this building. It pertains to it, but still, you know, you could run it and it's not going to, you know, it doesn't say the name of the building over and over again. It's not one of those type of buildings. So it's a nice soundtrack. I really, really appreciate what Lemax has done with the soundtracks this year. We also can't forget the scientist up in the corner there that's got the electrode that he's, looks like he's putting it up there. I really, really dig that as well. They really, I mean, this piece is going very hard at the mad scientist thing and the experiments and everything that's going on here. I appreciate that this piece goes very hard. So again, it's one that's not very understated. This is a showpiece. When you turn this thing on, it goes crazy. And I really do like how they went over the top with the lighting on this. I think this one, for this type of piece, it really does accent it well. If you're going to have a mad scientist place, you got to have electrodes. And also with the teleporter there, I really like that too. So they're mixing in some various things here, and it's a fun piece to look at. All right, guys. Hey, that is Dr. Dreadmoor's castle. I love this piece. It's a piece that has a lot of stuff up my alley. I would have loved if the tentacles had made their way to the door there. That would have really, you know, it really would have taken it up a notch for me, but I really appreciate what is here. And I like a good spooky castle, one that is, you know, like on a mountain. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. And the whole mad scientist thing, I appreciate how Lemax just went super hard. So it's an expensive piece. So, you know, if you're wanting to get this piece, I feel like a lot of folks out there, you probably really know one way or the other, whether you want to get it or not, and whether it's worth that kind of money. I absolutely love this piece. This is going to be a fun one. I'm looking to display and to do some custom display stuff with it eventually, and working into my whole castle vibe. That's one of the main themes I'm collecting now are, you know, the castles, and to do some kind of a thing like that. This is a castle that leans more, well, not into the fantasy thing. I didn't really talk about that much. It's not necessarily like a fantasy type castle, but still, it'll still work, you know, in a display like that, or at least I'm going to try. So anyways, I love this piece. I'm really curious to know what you all think about this. And, you know, before we go here, I wanted to thank you all for, I mean, we're having a lot of fun this season. I've been having a lot of fun. And I want to thank you all for the, you know, the subscriptions, the likes. I love reading the comments. You guys do such a great job with the comments. I really appreciate that. And thank you to my Patreon supporters. It's a lot of fun. So after this, we're going to get into some gift sets. Going to be talking in the next couple of videos here about some gift sets that Lemax is releasing this year. And that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Here it is with the lights and sound. And remember, at the end of this, I am going to actually power it off and show you what it looks like as it powers down. You want to make sure that you turn this off at the switch. Do not turn it off at the, you know, the power strip or whatever. You want to let it power down. So, all right, here it is with the lights and sound.